Bait materials, insecticides, and insect growth regulators. Bait materials consist of a chemical dissolved in an attractant, usually oil. An insecticide or insect growth regulator is absorbed within the granules as well. Ants forage and return it to the colony. Ants feed by sucking oil from the baits. They transfer the chemical to other ants by trophallaxis. The larvae are often called the stomach of the colony. This is because they are the only members of the colony that can ingest solid food. Fire ant baits are often very slow acting. However, there is a method to this madness. When a fire ant worker picks up a granule of bait, she carries it back into the nest. What little oils and pesticides she consumes from the solid bait cannot kill her, otherwise this granule will not make it into the nest. The granules are fed to the larvae, who ingest the pesticide, regurgitate it, and the liquid is fed to other members of the colony. It takes a while before the pesticide is transferred to all the members of the colony. It cannot work too quickly or it will never make it back to the queen. Once the queen or queens have received the pesticide, she will die. If you do not kill the queen, you do not kill the colony. There are many different chemicals that have different actions on fire ants. General insecticide-based baits kill fire ants. These active ingredients include indoxacarb. Trade names may be Spectracide Fire Ant Killer, Advion, Over and Out Fire Ant Killer Mound Treatment. Hydromethonon. Trade names include Amdro Fire Ant Bait, ProBait, or Max Force. Spinosad, which is OMRI certified or organic certified, found as Come and Get It or Greenlight Fire Ant Control with Conserve. Fipronil, which is found as Ceasefire Fire Ant Bait. Insect growth regulators, or IGRs, and similar compounds prevent the queen from laying viable eggs. Active ingredients include S-methoprene, or Extinguish, pyroxafen, found as Distance, or Exteme, abamectin, found as Varsity, or Ascend, which is actually technically not an insect growth regulator, but often found in this category, or phenoxacarb, found as Award. There are also mixtures or hopper blends, which include an insecticide along with an IGR. These include Extinguish Plus or Firestrike. You will get the best effect when workers are killed slowly or not at all. It takes time to get the material to the queen, as mentioned in the previous slide. Here are some examples of general insect baits. These active ingredients are indoxacarb, hydromethonon, and spinosad, the organic option to fire ant baits. These are examples of insect growth regulator baits: pyroxafen, abamectin, not technically an IGR, phenoxacarb, and methoprene. And then the mixtures or hopper blends of the insecticide plus the insect growth regulator. These are relatively new products. These contain methoprene and hydromethonon blends. You get the quick kill and the residual-like effects. You will have less ants in 6 months when using these products. There are many advantages to using fire ant baits. They are attractive to the pest, meaning that the fire ants will come and pick up the bait. Fire ant baits include corncob grit plus soybean oil, the attractant, and a pesticide. Baits also control unseen colonies, because these colonies who have not formed large mounds yet are still foraging for food. Baits are economical. They can be broadcast or spot treated. They are also easy to apply and relatively safe, the least toxic method of fire ant control. They are used in small amounts, meaning that you are using less concentrated amounts of pesticide in a given area. However, there are also disadvantages to using baits. There are little to no residual with baits. Baits can also be easily ruined if they are placed in excessive heat, if they are wet, or if they are placed in the sunlight. Most are slow acting. However, there are some fire ant baits that can control fire ants within 1 to 3 days. Most take 2 to 4 weeks for control. Growth regulator baits may be difficult to find. They are not usually found on hardware store shelves. Baiting selection can also sometimes be confusing. There are many options, and it's hard to know which one to use. When applying baits, it is very important to have proper use of the baits. Always apply when workers are foraging. These are sunny days, either early or late in the day, and they are most active during 75 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. During the heat of the summer, it is best to apply either very early in the morning or very late in the day, late afternoon or early evening. Always use fresh baits, and apply when the ground is dry and no rain is expected. It is best to have a window of 48 hours prior to application and 48 hours after application. Do not mix baits with other materials. Avoid applying to mound surfaces. This is because fire ants do not forage on top of their mound, they forage at the perimeter of their mound. Do not disturb the mound prior to application. This can cause bait shyness. Do follow the label directions. The label is the law, and it will tell you everything you need to know. Do use the lowest setting on the spreader. This will prevent you from over-applying the bait. There are different application methods for applying baits. These include individual mound treatments, handheld seeders, or vehicle-mounted seeders.